Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kid Show, and today we're talking about Naughty Dog because, well, a lot of information has transpired around Naughty Dog over the course of yesterday and today. But it has essentially led Neil Druckmann to being the only president of Naughty Dog now. And, this video is kind of just going to go over what's been going on and my prediction as to the future of Naughty Dog. So, let's just go over the main thing here, which is that Naughty Dog's Evan Wells is out as co-president. Wells has been with Naughty Dog since 1998. This dude has done some time, bro. And it says here, Naughty Dog co-president Evan Wells has announced his retirement from the company. Wells joined Naughty Dog back in 1998 during development on Crash Bandicoot Warped, known in Europe as Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. And that was actually my first Crash Bandicoot game. I adored it. I think it was the perfect starting point, honestly, because it was easier than previous Crash games. And so I started at Warped and I kind of worked my way back. Crash Bandicoot holds a very, beloved place in my heart. It shaped my love of gaming, really. It's one of the early, video games that I did own because I started off console gaming with the PS1 essentially. And I think you could tell that I'm a fan. But, kind of, maybe a little bit, right? I love Crash, man. This is my guy. I loved him because he just looked super cool. And I think my most beloved title of Crash is Team Racing. All right, so I love Crash Team Racing. When they did a remake of the game, I kind of made my own collector's edition of it, essentially. So I was like, man, they're remaking my game. That is the one I do love the most. But obviously, their platformers were also solid. So, to me, they go back a ways, and I do have to thank Evan Wells here for being an important part of my childhood. He started working on the game that sparked my love of Crash and really my love of platformers. He became co-president of the studio after the departure of founders Jason Rubin and Andy Gavin in 2004, and would serve in that capacity for the most of his tenure, with a brief stint as sole president following departure of Chris Baristra. Oh my god, I totally butchered that name. My apologies. Eventually being joined by The Last of Us and Uncharted 4 director Neil Druckmann in 2020. So this guy has been president for a very long time as well. 2004 is definitely some time, almost 20 years. Wells also served as executive producer for the 2022 Uncharted movie and HBO's hit The Last of Us TV adaptation. In the announcement, Wells says he's been floating the idea of his retirement with leaders at Naughty Dog for over a year, and for even longer with Druckmann. The decision brings with it overwhelming and conflicting emotions, but I've come to realize that I'm content with my time at the studio and all that we've accomplished together over the last 25 years, Wells said. I couldn't be more confident in Neil's ability to carry on running the studio. It's the right time for me to provide the opportunity for him and the others on the studio leadership team to steer the studio into a successful future. And personally, look, man, I'm glad that he's hopeful, but in my personal opinion, I feel kind of the opposite. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I do feel the opposite. And I will get into as to why personally, but I would definitely like to know your thoughts as to the future of Naughty Dog as a studio, The Last of Us as its future, and their new IP and factions. Whatever your thoughts are, generally speaking, please let me know in the comment section. And it's yet to be seen who, if anyone, will step in or up to replace Wells. And it seems as though they've always had the desire to have co-presidents instead of just one sole president. And they go on to say, I couldn't be more excited for our current projects, and not getting to see those games to completion is going to be hard, he adds. But we've never had a stronger team in place to ensure that we will deliver them in a way that will set industry standards and exceed all expectations. So, wishing Evan Wells certainly the best on this front. But this leaves Neil Druckmann as the sole president of Naughty Dog, and I feel as though it is Naughty Dog's best interest to bring someone up to be co-president with him, because, well, I think Neil Druckmann is the type of person, he's extremely pretentious, extremely idealistic, to the point where it does sour gamers that experience gamers, well, anybody that engages with any of your content. If you watch the movies, the TV shows, or play the video games, I feel as though his pretentious idealism is, to a point, a hindrance to the enjoyability of their products. I personally have a problem with Neil, on a sense that he puts a lot of his personal ideology in his work, and a lot of it is a hindrance to my enjoyment of his work. And my prediction for the future of Naughty Dog is that they will definitely be seeing hard times. I think that there's a lot of things that will add to this reality. I think PlayStation is going to be hard on Naughty Dog, specifically because it seems as though, at this point, PlayStation is going to lose the battle against Microsoft in regards to the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Now, hear me out on this. The reality is that a big part of why PS4 was such a successful generation for PlayStation was because of the deal between Activision in regards to Call of Duty. A lot of people may not want to admit to that, but that is the reality. It's not the sole reason, but it is definitely a big reason as to PlayStation 4's huge success, man. Having that, timed exclusivity deals and marketing deals, this has certainly swayed a lot of casuals to purchase a PS4 at the time. Not, like I said, not the only reason, but a huge reason. So at this point, with losing that marketing deal, PlayStation is definitely going to be harder on their studios. And Naughty Dog is the type, everything gets delayed, everything gets pushed back. While the quality of their work certainly shows with these delays and such, I think that PlayStation is going to be a little bit harder on them. And I think that Naughty Dog will have a hard time meeting those high expectations. I think that with Neil Druckmann, in regards to his style, I mean, nobody telling him, bro, you're taking this a little too far. If you have a bunch of yes sir men around Neil Druckmann, I think at some point he's going to go a step too far. And the reason why I think he's going to go a step too far is because, well, mediocrity at Naughty Dog is certainly praised. And I'll show you some of that right now, with the reality that, well, in my personal opinion, you can totally agree or disagree with me if you'd like to. I can accept a difference of opinion. I think The Last of Us TV show was an extremely mediocre show. In comparison to the way this story was told through the video game, the show does not compare. It is inferior by a lot, very noticeably so. If you've only watched The Last of Us TV show, I highly recommend to play the video game, if it be the remake, the remaster, or even the PS3 version. Playing through that game and experiencing it the way it was meant to be is a far better experience than that the TV show gave. TV show has an immense amount of flaws in it. I've talked about it in a video in videos previously. I've done a lot of reviews episode by episode. Those are short, but my overall thoughts are a full video diving into the nitty-gritty with it. But The Last of Us TV show has the second most Emmy nominations this year after Succession. The Last of Us TV show earns 24 Emmy nominations. And to me, in my personal opinion, this is rewarding mediocrity. It's rewarding social, political statements over quality of work. That, to me, is a problem. And even going so much as to award The Last of Us Episode 3 a nomination for Best Writing at the Emmys. And to me, this is one of the most worthless episodes in the entire show. Trust me, there are definitely more than just episode 3 that was worthless additions to the show. I think the show is written extremely poorly, in my personal opinion. Um, there are some episodes that I thought were actually really well done. There were episodes that are completely worthless to the overall narrative, and then there are episodes that were garbage. So I have very mixed thoughts. At the end of the day, I think the show was mid or mediocre at best, and it's being rewarded and deemed the most amazing thing ever uh, at the Emmys. And this, to me, will lead someone as impressionable, idealistic, and pretentious, such as Neil Druckmann, to think that he actually is really great at what he does, when really his thought process kind of gets in between making a great product. I think that Naughty Dog, as a developer, and even when they get involved in television, are capable of a lot of great things. I think they have a lot of great ideas. But I think more and more, as someone such as Neil Druckmann is set in his ways of how he does things, the more it will lead to the general audience, us, gamers, even, people that watch television, to saying, yeah, this is one step too far, bro. And I think that The Last of Us Part 2 is a great example of definitely going too far. Naughty Dog as a company chose to make a divisive video game with The Last of Us Part 2, and then was essentially upset when they divided their community. And to me, I separate, people that discuss and have played The Last of Us into like 3 different categories. 2 of them are completely irrational. One side being, well, this is completely garbage from start to finish in every aspect. Then there's people in the middle that are like, there's some great aspects to this game, but then there's certain things that are mediocre, bad, or a hindrance to the overall game itself, which I think is, obviously a rational thought. I fit into this category personally, where I do like some things about the video game, and then there's some things that are honestly just not good about it, or that kind of ruin the overall narrative, that could have been so much better than what it essentially was. And then you have the other side of the irrational discussion, where the game is perfect in every way, shape, or form. You can't have a basic discussion as to negatives about this game. These people think that the game is the greatest thing ever made, period. And yeah, these people tend to be problematic, let's just say that. And I also think that the people that think it's entirely trash are also problematic, don't get me wrong. Um, but overall, yes, I believe that awarding mediocrity, specifically because it aligns with a particular, social political stance, will lead to Naughty Dog falling from grace at some point. For me, I'm very cautious of what Naughty Dog does, specifically because I know who leads them. I know that a pretentious cuck who is a super feminist leads them, and through he finds strength in his submissiveness. I think that is loser mentality, and you're being led by a complete loser. That's my personal opinion. You could agree with or disagree if you want to. Completely understand. But at the end of the day, when I have an opinion, it's because I thought it out pretty much for a while, and I dig my boots in the ground. I think that this success emboldens. It definitely emboldens Neil Druckmann to feel as though he's right to do what he does. And it's definitely going to lead to that. Now, when do I think this will take place? Well, it really more so depends on how many games Naughty Dog can possibly get out there. I wish they would stop being concerned with television and film and actually work on getting video games, so maybe we'd actually get one this generation from them. But I think, I think it's going to take about 3 games to determine whether they're able to stand on their own or not. I think that they'll maybe at most get out 2 games this generation. If they manage to get out 3 games this generation, I think that's when we're kind of going to see gamers sort of be done with their bullshit. I think Factions, I hope Factions is going to be their best work in terms of just making a damn good video game and kind of excluding their bullshit from it. But then they also have their new IP in progress. I think that they're going to be relatively relaxed with their new IP, specifically because it is a new IP. Who knows? They could feel even more emboldened in that. But I think really where it's gonna be make or break for Naughty Dog is with The Last of Us Part 3. Like I said, could be completely wrong. They might actually assess some of their nonsense and realize that gamers don't want their bullshit. They just want a good video game that has a good story and doesn't necessarily involve their political bullshit statements in it. But yeah, guys, yeah, this became a kind of a long video, but that's my general thoughts as to the future of Naughty Dog. And I think that Naughty Dog is capable of some really great things. I think that Neil Druckmann needs to fucking relax with his soy boy cuckery. Feminist cuckery, man. I think that, and I hope that Naughty Dog will get a co-president that's kind of gonna be like, yo, bro, relax. Relax, okay, dog? Like, relax. I think that he desperately needs that. I mean, I think that The Last of Us, the original game, him being co-director, not necessarily the director, the sole director, probably helped that game be as likable as it was. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about all this information, about all these Emmy nominations for a mediocre TV show, as well as this news that Evan Wells is departing at the end of this year from and retiring from Naughty Dog. And yeah, let me know what you think about essentially Neil Druckmann leaving the sole president of Naughty Dog, man. Oh, can't wait to see how this goes. But yeah, guys, if you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so that you'll definitely be notified of when I do make videos. Follow me over on Twitter or Kick if you'd like to continue the conversation. And guys, with all being said, I am out. Peace.